Have you ever looked at your Wi-Fi router and wondered, why does it have a USB port? Most people never plug anything into it. Some don't even know it's there. But that tiny USB port might be one of the most overlooked features in your entire home network. Depending on your router, it could let you share files, stream media, connect printers, create backups, charge devices, or even turn your router into a mini network server. So why do some routers still have it while others removed it completely? And is it actually useful in 2026? Let's find out. By the end of this video, you'll know why router manufacturers added USB ports in the first place, the most useful things you can still do with them today, the security mistake many people make when using them, and whether your router's USB port is a hidden gem or just wasted plastic. Let's start with the reason this port exists at all. Years ago, home routers were much simpler than today's models. Back then, many devices weren't wireless. Printers needed cables. External drives needed direct connections. Network storage was expensive. Router manufacturers realized something interesting. Most homes already had a router running 24 hours a day. So instead of buying extra hardware, why not allow the router to perform additional tasks? That's where the USB port came in. A single USB port suddenly gave routers new abilities. Instead of being just an internet gateway, a router could become a print server, a file sharing server, or even a media sharing hub. For many households, this was revolutionary. But technology changes fast, and some of those original uses are now disappearing. One of the earliest uses of a router USB port was printer sharing. Imagine having an old printer without Wi-Fi. Normally, it could only work with one computer connected directly by USB. But when connected to the router instead, every device on the network could send print jobs to it. At the time, this was incredibly convenient. No more moving cables. No more dedicated print computer. Just one printer available to everyone. Today, however, most printers come with built-in wireless connectivity. Many connect directly to Wi-Fi or cloud printing services. As a result, router-based print sharing has become much less important. But if you're still using an older printer, your router USB port may still save the day. Another historical use was firmware updates. Before automatic updates became common, updating a router required several steps. You would download firmware from the manufacturer's website, save it to a USB drive, insert it into the router, and manually install the update. It sounds simple today, but years ago, this was often the safest method. Modern routers have largely eliminated this process. Most now support online updates. Some even update automatically in the background. As a result, USB-based firmware updates are rarely needed anymore. But this wasn't the end of the USB port's usefulness. In fact, the most practical feature is still alive and well. This is where things get interesting. If your router supports USB storage sharing, you can plug in a flash drive or external hard drive. The router then makes those files available across your entire network. Think about it. One USB drive, multiple devices, no cloud subscription, no additional hardware, no monthly fees, family photos, videos, documents, music collections, backup files, all accessible from computers connected to your network. In a basic sense, your router becomes a miniature NAS. NAS stands for Network Attached Storage. Dedicated NAS systems are faster and more powerful. But for many households, router USB sharing provides enough functionality for simple file access. And setup is usually easier than people expect. The exact steps vary depending on your router brand, but the overall process is very similar. Step 1. Insert a USB flash drive or external storage device into the router's USB port. Most routers will detect it automatically. Step 2. Open your router's administration page. This is usually accessed through a local IP address. Step 3. Navigate to USB settings, storage settings, or file sharing settings. The name varies by manufacturer. Step 4. Enable file sharing. Some routers also allow you to choose read-only access, read and write access, user authentication, guest access permissions, folder restrictions. Step 5. Save your settings. Your router will generate a network share path. Once configured, computers and supported devices on your network can browse and access the shared storage. At this point, you've essentially created a simple home file server. And for many users, that's more than enough. Depending on your router model, the USB port may offer even more features. Some routers support media servers. This allows smart TVs and streaming devices to access movies, music, and photos stored on the connected drive. Others support automatic backups. Some support mobile broadband adapters. A few advanced routers can even run lightweight applications and services. However, capabilities vary dramatically. Two routers may have identical-looking USB ports, but completely different functionality. That's why checking your router's documentation is important. A USB port alone doesn't guarantee every feature. Before you rush to connect a hard drive, there's something important you need to know. Many people assume router-based file permissions provide complete protection. That's not entirely true. Software permissions only protect files while the drive remains connected through the router. But if someone gains physical access to the router, they can simply unplug the drive. Once connected directly to another computer, those files may become accessible. This means router USB storage should not be treated as a high-security vault. For sensitive information, encryption remains essential. Think of router file sharing as convenience, not maximum security. That's a very important distinction. So what is the USB port on your router actually for? Originally, it helped share printers and install firmware updates. Today, its most valuable purpose is storage sharing. For many households, it can function as a simple file server without buying additional equipment. Will it replace a dedicated NAS? Probably not. Will it replace professional cloud storage? Definitely not. But if you already own a router with a USB port, you may be sitting on a feature you've never used. And that tiny port could be far more useful than you thought. Now take a look at your router. Does it have a USB port? And if it does, have you ever used it? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more practical tech explanations. Thanks for watching.